So the next thing we're going to cover is recording. Now since we created a guitar track, why not record some guitars? Let's get started. So what you want to do first is record and enable the track you want to record to. So we'll enable the guitar track, hit record. Now I'm seeing some signal here. So I can see that something's plugged in and is ready to record. So the next thing I want to do is record the session. This will tell the session, okay, I'm going to record this track and begin recording. So I'll enable the record button. Now this mode is actually standby mode. It's getting ready to record the guitar track. The very next thing I need to do is press play. Here we go, let's press play, see what we have. As you can see, we have audio signal coming in. As it passes through, the waveform begins to show up. Now this is blue because there's a default setting in Pro Tools, but you can change the color later. Now I can even see when it begins to strum loud or soft in the waveform. As you can see, here's a little softer, here's a little louder. These usually show downbeats. I can see that maybe this is a 1, a 2, maybe a 2 and then a 3, just by looking at it. So I'll zoom out. I will stop there. So I can see now the waveform. I'm actually looking physically at this waveform. Now let's go over some ways to edit this waveform, look at the waveform, move it, and possibly even trim it down to what we need. Alright, so let's take a look at what we've recorded. What I'll use is a selector tool. This allows me to select anywhere in the session on where I want to begin playback. So for some reason your tool is on the grabber tool, let's just click on the selector tool, and that's, like I said, allow you to select between your region where I want to play back. So if I want to play back at the very beginning of the recording, I click and just press play. Another quick key for the play button is the space bar. So let's use the space bar. So we can see every downbeat, the volume, the actual size of the waveform gets larger. Thus, our volume's louder as well. There's our downbeat. So he messed up there. Let's see if we can get another take and maybe we can edit that out. Alright, so the best part of this take, as you guys can hear, is the chorus. The intro, the verse are okay, but I think the really good recording of this was the chorus. So in theory, we could X all of this out and just keep the chorus. There's a few ways to do that. Let me show you the easiest way. We'll use a selector tool and find our cutting point, our downbeat. So we'll press play. There's our downbeat intro to the chorus. We'll keep that. So the best way to begin editing this region is using the tab to transient function. Now we found our location. There's our beginning of our song, the downbeat, the 1 of the song. And we'll use tab to transient to tab to the very beginning of that transient. So as you notice here, I'll zoom in and I show an arrow pointing to a transient. And it says up here, tab to transient. So it's very easy to know. So what I'll do is I'll enable that and then tab, using the tab key right next to the Q, and tab to that transient. Watch. There it goes. If I zoom in using the Apple bracket key, Apple right bracket zooms in. Notice I'm zooming in to the very beginning of this transient. Let's make an edit there. Apple E allows us to edit. So Apple E, we've now made a splice in between this region. So now I have region A and region B. Now the naming convention for Pro Tools is very simple. I'm showing guitar 1, take 1, edit 01. Here's guitar 1, take 1, edit 02. A and B, 1 and 2. So let's delete A. We really don't need it. We can just delete this. So let's see the result of our editing. We'll press play. Sounds good. So now there's the beginning of the second half of the chorus. All right, sounds good. So let's just make this region a chorus region. I want to edit everything out, the post-chorus or the pre-verse, whatever they call it, or whatever you guys call it at home. Let's just make this a chorus region. All right, so the same concept applies. Let's use the tab to transient function and find our downbeat. So I'll press play near the end of the chorus. I'm showing it right around here. We'll tab to it, so tab to this one. I think that's the 4 out of the 1, 2, 3, 4 quarter notes in the song. So I think this is the 1. See how it tabs right to it? Let me show you something that's really neat. Option tab allows you to go backwards. So let's say you skipped it by accident. You can now option tab straight to it. Very useful in case you go past the transient. So then we'll make our cut here as well. Apple E. And notice, guitar 1, take 1, edit 3, guitar 1, take 1, edit 4. Let's delete take 4. What I want to show you now is how to do loop playback. This is really useful when you want to hear certain parts of a song over and over again, or if you're practicing certain songs. Let's say there's a part that you may not know and you want to get really good at it, you can do that with loop playback. In this scenario, we're using loop playback to see what our actual chorus sounds like if it's looped, to see if that's actually in sync with itself. Let's try it. So the easiest way to do loop playback is to go to the playback button, hold down the control key on the keyboard, and select it. This will allow you to cycle through different modes of playback. Notice the first one was loop playback. We'll stay with that. I will double click on the region. This will allow me to select the region. If I were to select once anywhere else, it moves my cursor, my playhead. If I double click with the selector tool, again, it selects the region itself. Let's press play, see what we got. It's a little off. So let's try this. Let's get the first half of the chorus and double that. That'll make it easier for us to have a nice solid chorus. And then they can go into post-chorus, pre-verse later and dub that. So let's try it. In this section though, I want to show you something different. I could tab to transient, the downbeat, and delete that subsequent region. In this scenario, I want to show you how to use the trim tool. Okay, so the trim tool is right next to the selector tool. Here it is. As you can see, it's showing 2 arrows, to the left and to the right. This allows you to actually increase or decrease your region. Now you can only increase or decrease the region that you already had. So if you recorded 1 minute, you can only increase the region to 1 minute. Now you can decrease the region as low as you'd like. Let me show you how it works. I'll select the trim tool, F6, and trim it down. So let's trim down to the downbeat. I think it's somewhere around here. Now what I'll do is I'll physically look at the region. Now I'm zooming in using the bracket key I showed you guys earlier. I'm going to use the arrow key, the right arrow key, to move to the right. So let's take a look at this edit. I can see my downbeat right around there. If I move it forward, I'm bringing back the region. If I bring it back, I'm bringing back the region to the left. So I'm hiding basically what I recorded. So let's go to right around here. I'm showing an upswing in the cycle. So there's our upswing, our downswing on our cycles per second. That's how frequency is measured. So right around there. I'll zoom out, get my selector tool, and then press play. And that's a perfect loop. Hope that helps.